Okay guys, I'm on another one of my little holidays, and this time I'm camping down in Kelvedon Hatch, and if you recognise that name, chances are it's because you've read Outrunners, and this unassuming bungalow in the middle of this forest is actually the entrance to RGHQ 5.1, better known as Kelvedon Hatch, which during the Cold War would have been one of the regional seats of government in case of a nuclear attack. So we're going to go inside. And I know it doesn't sound like it, but I am super excited. I've cycled all the way here, so I'm a bit knackered. But yeah, I'm really excited to get into this because I've actually written about the place and never actually been here, so let's go. Okay, so one of the interesting things that it notes on the audio guide is that this typical farm, or the MOD's interpretation of a typical farm, wasn't meant to keep the Russians out. It was meant to keep out the rabble like you and me, so to allow the regional government who are operating in this area to get on with their job and not have to worry about people like me and you looting the place for food and security. So you come in through the main door, you pick up an audio guide. I've got mine running through headphones because I'm such a hipster, and we're about to go into the bunker itself. And I apologise for the video quality. I don't have a good camera anymore. Oh, it's very dark. And this is the tunnel. It's the Home Office radio room. Oh, bring gun. Ooh. It's the blast doors. And here are the grey boxes that have "Do Not Touch" written on them. Yeah. Oh my god, I'm having such a nerd freak out moment here right now. Okay, I know I should really be talking about the bunker, but I'm just going to have a quick mosey on about Outrunners. This room is where Katie is standing when the first earthquake hits, and then the subsequent storms, or the storms and then the earthquake. And she actually holds herself up against these walls. And these blast doors, these huge blast doors that weigh about the same as a family car each, they warp and get jammed shut. But in the event of a real nuclear emergency, these doors would have been shut on several hundred people in this regional government headquarters, and they would have had to have tried to assist the local population by they had to determine where, so if it was nuclear fallout, they'd have to determine where the wind was blowing and where it was carrying the nuclear fallout and all that stuff. That's useful, and obviously they needed a radio to communicate with above surface as well. But these big grey boxes that you see in front of you are actually generator control panels, essentially, and this allows people inside the bunker to turn the power on without going outside, which I'm sure you can agree in a nuclear apocalypse situation is the last thing you want to do. So yeah. Now, it definitely for me does not feel like we are 100 meters or 100 feet underground, but we are, because we walk down that tunnel And yeah, now I think that's an air vent above us, and a fire alarm, but also an air vent. And I don't know if that would have been original to the original bunker, or if that's been added as a safety feature. Because I thought the air vents were slightly more significant than that, but I could be wrong. Oh, what else is there? Oh yeah, by the way, I have got a permit, so I am allowed to be wandering around here. Yeah. 80 to 100 feet below the surface. This is the bottom floor and was thought to be the safest, which is why the military, the plant and machinery which run the bunker and the communications were on this bottom level. Excellent, and I think we're going to go see some of that now as we go through this door. Oh my god, if I was alive during this time and we needed to go into the nuclear bunker, I think this would probably have been my job. Tech nerd, radio tech nerd. I would have loved that. Obviously I wouldn't have loved the situation we were in, but I would have loved this. Oh, amazing. This is unfucking believable. Oh my god. The switchboards were manned 24 hours a day by up to 6 operators. Telephone operators man these booths to keep messages flowing throughout the HQ. Oh yeah, I suppose you'd have to have like an internal messaging system as well, so you wouldn't just need to be able to get out to the outside world and communicate with the other regional headquarters, regional government headquarters, but you'd also have had to have kept messages flowing within the bunker to make sure everything's working and people are where they're supposed to be and supplies are where they're supposed to be and security is being maintained and all that stuff. So yeah, very cool. This bunker wasn't actually decommissioned until 1992, right? So pretty recent. Oh my god. I guess it's on a timer, maybe? I don't know. That's cool though, bit of ambience. So who's this? The message switch controller, okay. This is the home defence boundary map, and I'm assuming each one of these areas would have had an individual regional government headquarters. So Essex would have been Kelvedon Hatch. I think Norfolk would have been the King's Lynn bunker. Down in East Sussex or West Sussex, you've got the RGHQ 6.1 Crowborough, which is it used to be a radio tower that broadcast propaganda to Europe during World War II, but that was then turned into a different type of bunker, Cold War bunker. So, yeah.
Change of clothing. First aid kit, household medicines and prescribed medicines. Box of dry sand, cloths or tissues for wiping plates and utensils.
So this video is essentially telling you what you should take to your fallout shelter with you and prepare to stay in your fallout shelter for up to 14 days. But most people in the UK didn't have a fallout shelter, so the best they had to do was the cupboard under the stairs, right? So that would be where they would have to stash all their stuff for 14 days, food, water, clothing. You have to be able to boil water under there and all that good stuff. And I'm glad it never came to that. Oh, it's the nuclear, it's the fallout map, I think, to determine where the fallout's going to go based on the wind and all that sort of thing, and atmosphere. This is a Royal Observer Corps bunker, and there would have been thousands of these dotted up and down the land. So they've built this replica of a bunker within a bunker, essentially, which is cool. 3 to 4 people would have been under here, and they would have been listening out for sort of like troop movements and nuclear blasts and all that sort of thing, and they would have relayed the information back to one of the regional government headquarters, which sounds like a pretty crappy job if you ask me. You've got to be underground, cramped in tight, you've got to hand pump all your water, you've only got a battery, you know, it's, I don't know if you've got a generator down there, but running a generator in that tight confined space, yeah, no thanks. But in the case of a nuclear war, these guys and girls would have been the first people to alert us to a problem, I guess. So yeah, really interesting. And next to that, they've got this strong room. And the audio guide was like, well, at first we weren't too sure why they'd need a strong room down here so large, considering the entire bunker is like a bank vault. But then they were like, well, occasionally there'd be top-ranking government officials down here who would have information that the typical worker at the bunker doesn't need to know about or shouldn't know about. But the other interesting thing is that in the strong room, if the situation was so bad, there was also cyanide in there if they couldn't get out of the bunker, or if, you know, it was really desperate. So I thought that was interesting. So there you go. And these are more of the fallout maps. So if a nuclear bomb had gone off, I'm pretty sure these maps would have been used, and you'd have seen like cones and stuff drawn on them, and markings and all that sort of thing to dictate where the wind was going, and thus dictate where the nuclear fallout was going as well. So yeah, and they've got quite a few of these large maps hanging up. So yeah. I thought the air system was a bit more substantial than that hole in the ceiling that we saw at the beginning. So this takes air from the outside, and I assume it cleans it very thoroughly of all pollutants and nuclear chemical nonsense. And across and over again to more decontamination. Each one of these containers over here contains a different grade of filter material. And all this had to cool the bunker down as well. Like, it's quite cold now, but right now the bunker isn't full of people, and the computers aren't all going and all this and that, and so they don't need to, they obviously, it's freezing now. It is really freezing down here now. It's quite cold. But if the bunker was active and there was people living here, and all the machines were running and everything was hectic and crazy, and there'd been bombs dropped on the fucking country upstairs, they would have had to have kept this place cool as well. So there's so many problems and so many things go into running a bunker. It's really quite crazy. This is what keeps this bunker cold. Okay, I've got to be quick here, but we've just come upstairs. This dark room that this camera is never going to pick up in a million years is the commissioner's room, and there's a bed at the back there and some actually, for 1992, modernish looking computers, like in the 90s. I don't know if they're period. But then if we go to this one, this would be the principal officer of the bunker, and you can see a bit better here. Now these two people would have been on alert 24/7, would have been on call all the time, and needed to be handy. So we're actually on the middle floor of the bunker here. But the more interesting one, I think you'll agree, is this one. This is where the Prime Minister would have stayed, had she or he, I think it was Margaret Thatcher at the time, I'm not sure, but had she needed to come down here, this is where she would have stayed. And I think she's got the biggest room of the lot of them. And again, another sort of maybe modernish computer over there. Who knows? The bunker was decommissioned in 1992, so it's not like they didn't have computers at the time.
Five megaton ground burst reported North London.
There's only two more.
Okay, so that was Kelvedon Hatch. I had an absolutely amazing time. The staff are super friendly. And just as we're about to go out here now, look, this is the fire exit. Ooh, and in Outrunners, this is the fire door that everybody is really sort of upset about, that causes a lot of leaking. And this is the what I call the quote-unquote Nissan hut, which I don't think it is, but it's close enough, where some of the Outrunners park their vehicles. So here we go. This was just magic. I absolutely love this. Walking through an area that I've written about in my stories but haven't actually been to. And actually I can see now, having been through the bunker, that I've made quite a few mistakes. But in Outrunners, a lot of the bunkers have sort of got... There's a fantasy element in that some of them have got car parks in them, which this one obviously does not have a car park underneath it. So the Outrunners use the Nissan hut. In other bunkers, Anchor up in Birmingham does not have a car park in it, but for the sake of Outrunners I have put a car park in there, so yeah, there you go. Oh, push. Oh, I always do that. So, yeah. This is the back entrance to the bunker, and now we're going to go down here, cross through here, down the side of that, just completely innocuous looking bungalow thing, and then we are back down at where we started essentially. So we came in through this bunker, or through this building here, we picked up the audio guide, and then there's a tunnel that goes... Right, hang on, where's my finger? There's a tunnel that goes like this. So the government, what they did is they took the land from a local farmer, and they wiped the hill out. They just took the top off the hill. In fact, I think they took the entire hill away. And then they built the bunker, dropped all the machinery and everything in it, built the bunker, and then once it was finished, they put the hill back on top, essentially. And if you're going to hide a bunker, I mean, that's a pretty good way to do it. So yeah, but I'm pretty sure, okay, it wasn't decommissioned until 1992, but I think it was taken in 1952 from the farmer and turned into like a rotor station. So I can't remember what that's called. I don't know what rotor stands for, but I think it's something to do with the like first line of defence radio operators sort of deal. I could be wrong there, I'll have to check it out. But yeah, Kelvedon hatch, man. I've finally been to the secret nuclear bunker and I am well impressed. I cannot wait to see the other ones. I cannot wait to see... I hope one day they open up Anchor. I hope one day they open up Guardian. I hope they open up the one down in London, the 3 sister sites. That'd be awesome. I hope the one up in King's Lynn is open, the one that's under an old people's home. Spring Quarry in Corsham, I would absolutely love to go there, but that is probably like a 3-day sort of tour thing. The place is huge. And Crowborough down south, where they used to broadcast propaganda to Europe during World War II, and possibly during the Cold War as well. So yeah. Oh, it's so amazing! I'm so happy I've been here. This is awesome. Right, onwards. Thank you very much for watching. Take it easy, and I'll catch you on the next one.